Hello, I'm Natasha Hussein, and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Israeli forces have committed another apparent war crime by launching an overnight raid on Gaza's al-Shifa hospital using tanks and heavy gunfire. It's the fourth attack on the hospital and comes just days after around 20 people were killed and 155 wounded while waiting for aid at the medical complex.
The IDF is conducting a high-precision operation in limited areas of Shifa Hospital, following concrete intelligence that demanded immediate action. We know that senior Hamas terrorists have regrouped inside the Shifa Hospital and are using it to command attacks against Israel.
While Israel claims al-Shifa is being used as a Hamas command post, there's been no actual evidence to back that claim. What we do know, though, is that thousands of displaced civilians were sheltering there, on top of the hundreds of patients being treated at the facility. Eyewitnesses on social media describe a state of panic as Israeli soldiers stormed the hospital, shooting anything that moved both inside and outside the facility. As Israeli troops opened fire on Monday morning, thousands of Palestinians fled out onto the streets. Israeli forces had, through leaflets and social media, asked those staying on the hospital compound to evacuate, but many stayed put, having no means in which to leave or any place to run. The fighting and devastation in northern Gaza had forced thousands to seek shelter on the al-Shifa grounds in makeshift tents. A week into the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, and Gazans are living in truly dire conditions. 2 million civilians are displaced, and many are on the brink of starvation. Yet, many Gazans remain determined to observe the 14-hour fast. Nizar reports on a subdued and somber Ramadan from the southern Gazan city of Rafah.
Here in Rafah, in southern Gaza, a somber Ramadan unfolds, shadowed with death, disease, destruction, and starvation. Every day, the situation gets worse. But they say, thank God. And they also say, Ramadan Kareem. This Ramadan, however, is shadowed by war and siege. Images circulating on social media show Palestinians breaking their fast not with the traditional dates and water, but with grass and lemon. And these images stark symbols of the dire food shortages gripping the region. Online, these images have ignited a wave of empathy and outrage, especially outside, of course.
لا إله إلا الله. مش شرب هيك تصحى الرز لو 30 نفر صبناها بمية. صحن الرز ل 30 نفر. عملتوه بمية. أنا شوية زعتر وزيت وخلصنا. زعتر وزيت. أفطرت امبارح زعتر وزيت وشوية شوربة ل 30 نفر. واليوم أنت قاعدة بتعملي
People outside Gaza are trying to express their solidarity and shock at the extent of this crisis here. Yet behind the screens, the reality bites hard in Gaza's streets. This is absolutely no ordinary Ramadan in Gaza. The war has shattered the peace of this holy month, extinguishing the joy and spirituality it traditionally brings. Many Palestinians face the bleak prospect of observing the fast not in devotion but out of sheer necessity as Israel's siege tightens, leaving shelves empty and stomachs hollow. From sunrise to sunset, the fast takes on a different meaning here. Children score through garbage for a morsel of food sometimes. Families face the harrowing choice of what little to consume to sustain them for another day. In Rafah, yes, the situation is definitely, I wouldn't say better, I would say less worse than the northern regions. But fear here intensifies amid the chaos of the war. And civilians here are still caught between hunger and the horrors of what they continue to experience every day. Now, with that ground operation looming in Rafah, these people here around me are becoming more devastated, more helpless, and more hopeless. They watch their relatives and loved ones in the north starving to death. And they worry that they are still standing next in line. Nizar Sadawi, TRT World, Rafah, southern Gaza.
A week after Israel's war on Gaza began, Israel began scrambling GPS signals in the Palestinian territories and parts of neighboring countries. The aim was to limit communication, a measure to protect Israel from missile strikes from Lebanon and Gaza. This map is produced by GPS Jam and shows the extent of GPS jamming in and around Israel. The areas in yellow show some levels of disruption, and red denotes exceptionally high rates of jamming. Since October, there's been a spike in jamming in Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt. Experts say Israel is most likely the culprit of the GPS jamming, a measure that's considered electronic warfare. And apart from confusing missiles, there are other consequences. In regions close to Lebanon and Syria, residents say navigation systems like Move It and Google Maps are directing them off course to places in Egypt and Syria. And dating apps are matching Israelis and Lebanese people with each other. With Lebanese citizens barred from having any type of contact with Israelis, true love, though, seems very unlikely. As GPS jamming continues across the Middle East, so does the shadow banning of pro-Palestinian voices globally. That's when social media platforms censor Palestinian creators or posts in support of Gaza. Palestinian photojournalist Mutaz Azaiza reported being shadow banned by Facebook over the weekend. Ramallah-based journalist Fatin Elwan posted on Sunday that Instagram is restricting her reach. Her account isn't being shown to non-followers. Lawyer and activist Rosie Pirani posted that she's started to take more algo breaks on Instagram to try to get her reach back to normal after more than 90 days of being shadow banned. She still can't go live and has a misinformation flag on her account. The shadow ban has significantly slowed down her fundraising efforts for Gaza. 6 months since the Gaza conflict began, and platforms clearly aren't slowing down their censorship of pro-Palestine voices. Post something in solidarity with Gaza, even if it's a news item about the conflict from a credible news source, and you'll find that post hidden from your friends' stories or timelines. Users continue to deliberately misspell words such as Gaza and genocide to circumvent shadow bans. Meta and TikTok have denied deliberately censoring pro-Palestinian voices, blaming it on glitches in their content moderation algorithms. But rights groups say there's clear evidence of a heightened censorship of content in support of Gaza. TikTokers say now more than ever, posting about Palestine is pivotal.
Many of you might have already noticed that you're seeing less and less pro-Palestinian content on your For You page. This is because TikTok sees this nothing as a trend, pushing it down the algorithm as the weeks go on. But we're here to remind them that this is not a trend. These are human beings which are being affected daily. We need to make sure that this conversation stays alive, because this is what Israeli and the West is hoping for this conversation to eventually start fading out so they can continue doing whatever they want. And I understand you, I truly do. Hearing so many of the atrocities being committed against innocent Palestinian people is exhausting mentally. But we need to keep in mind that this is nothing in comparison to what the people of Gaza are going through. Even if we might want to take a break from that, they don't have that privilege. Israelis are still going to be bombing their homes, their cities, and taking away their land.
Meanwhile, who knew something good that will help the people of Gaza could come out of the infamously viral Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow. A few weeks ago, children attending the event were promised a journey of confectionery dreams.
What is that? It's the unknown.
Instead, they got the unknown, the stuff of nightmares. Children were met with a sparsely decorated warehouse that prompted outraged families to demand their money back. Even the police were called. The event fail quickly became the subject of global ridicule and memes that will forever live on the internet. And now a lucky few will forever have a physical piece of what's been dubbed the Fire Festival for Children. You know, that luxury music festival that turned out to be a giant scam. Well, signs from the Willy Wonka experience have been auctioned off on eBay by record shop Monorail Music after a friend saved the backdrops from the venue. The backdrops all had a starting price of $13 but sold for above $1,000 each. This one went for the equivalent of $2,900. But before you think it's a big waste of money, it's all going to a good cause, with all proceeds donated to London-based charity Medical Aid for Palestinians. Switching gears now, Midjourney, the AI image generator known for creating fake images of real people, is banning prompts with the names of U.S. presidential candidates Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Why? Well, experts and advocates are worried about AI tools being used to influence voters and spreading fake news ahead of the election this year. But this isn't the first time we've seen this. Microsoft's Bing image generator tried banning Twin Towers prompts. That's a reference to 9/11 to stop memes. But meme makers still found a way. OpenAI's DALL-E 3 got a makeover too, with stricter rules to avoid creating violent, hateful, or adult content. It now has specific guidelines to prevent disinformation, such as declining requests to create images of real people, including candidates. OpenAI also cracked down on foreign state-linked accounts using their AI for no good. Are these enough, though? Well, a recent nonprofits report found that AI-generated images include election disinformation in 41% of cases. Midjourney performed the worst among all tools tested, including disinformation 65% of the time. Well, it looks like no matter how hard governments and companies try to stop AI from influencing U.S. elections, there's a strong possibility it will have an impact. Lara explains how to identify and combat AI-generated disinformation online.
Reports say 10% of internet content is already AI-generated, and that number is projected to skyrocket to 90% by 2026. This trajectory poses challenges for spotting misinformation ahead of the US election this year, highlighting the need for stronger media literacy. When it comes to news sites, detecting AI-generated content involves scanning for indicators such as conflicting information, lack of statistics or citations, and repetitive language. And don't forget to check the author's name and contact information for verification. Identifying AI-generated text in general can be tricky, but look out for short, simple sentences, implausible statements, and an overuse of common words. Fancy language, jargon, and the absence of typos or varied text are also telltale signs. While many users are getting better at spotting AI-generated images with slightly off-human faces, hands with extra fingers, and eerie smiles, some deepfakes are more challenging. If you're unsure about an image, try finding the highest resolution and zooming in for inconsistencies like floating objects or strange textures. Apply the same scrutiny to videos, watching for unnatural lighting, shadows, or body movements like blinking, or the lack of it. Tools such as Google's About This Image and online AI detection services like GPT-0, CopyLeaks, and Deepware can also be valuable for verifying content authenticity.
Let's travel to Asia now, where Ed Sheeran has taken India by storm. The pop star shocked and thrilled fans when he sang in Punjabi during his concert in Mumbai. He was joined on stage by Indian singer Diljit Dosanjh, and the duo sang a rendition of one of Dosanjh's hit songs, a move welcomed by fans across the country. Here's a clip from their performance that's gone viral. That wasn't the only viral moment in Sheeran's visit to India. The singer also collaborated with the Bollywood star Shah Rukh Khan, recreating his iconic blockbuster move. He even gave Khan a private concert.
Hey, darling, you look perfect tonight.
What an unlikely combo. Okay, have you ever lost or forgot to return a book you took from a library and then never went there again out of shame? Well, a public library in the US has started a forgiving scheme for such people caught in a bind. This month, Worcester Public Library is accepting pictures of cats as late delivery fees for items not returned on time. The picture can be of any cat or even a simple drawing of a cat. This generous system has already gathered a lot of attention, and many people have got their accounts reactivated by contributing to the library's cat wall. The librarians hope this scheme will bring more people through their doors and make the library a cherished communal space. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.